Todd Chrisley gets sentenced for 12 years in prison, and he's furious. In March 2014, Todd and Julie Chrisley had become household names because of their top-rated reality TV show, Chrisley Knows Best. They opened their homes to the fans and viewers as they shared and documented the everyday lives of the couple and their 4 children. They were considered one of the first family channels on YouTube. Everyone learned to love them because they were not shy about showing off their lives as real estate moguls and their wealthy lifestyles. However, their lives took a quick turn and the couple was charged with tax evasion, bank and wire fraud, and conspiracy. The reality stars were sentenced to a lengthy term in prison. Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison with 3 years of supervised release, while his wife Julie was sentenced to 7 years behind bars and 3 years of supervised release. According to District Judge Eleanor Ross, the presiding judge believed that the couple became greedy with their wealth and did everything they could to hide their income in order to avoid paying taxes and other legal obligations. Will the couple make an appeal? What was their initial reaction when their sentences were read? The Chrisleys were accused of building their empire based on lies. They made people believe that their massive income was the fruit of their years of hard work, dedication, and diligence. However, contrary to everyone's beliefs, the couple were known to be swindlers and scammers. In a sentencing memo, the prosecutors wrote, "Todd and Julie Chrisley are career swindlers who have made a living by jumping from one fraud scheme to another, lying to banks, stiffing vendors, and evading taxes at every corner. Their empire was built upon the backs of defrauded community banks that collapsed, while Todd Chrisley used the stolen money to fly to Los Angeles for bi-weekly haircuts." However, the Chrisleys disagreed with the government's calculations of their sentencing, and their lawyers argued that Todd would not receive more than 9 years in prison, and Julie should only be in probation with special conditions. It was unacceptable that they were sentenced to such a ridiculous prison term. The couple was indicted in 2019, and after 2 years, they were found guilty of federal tax evasion and fraud charges. Todd was convicted of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, and tax fraud. Julie was convicted of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, tax fraud, and wire fraud. The couple's eldest daughter, Lindsay Chrisley, released a statement following the verdict, which was believed to be a message from her parents. On her Instagram story, she wrote, "I know most of you are expecting to hear from me on my podcast this week, and I took time to be with my family last week. The verdict is not what I had hoped or prayed for, and I'm deeply saddened for myself, my son, and my family as a whole. Please pray for us during this difficult time, and know that I will be back when the time is right. Thank you for your continued love and support." The prosecutors wrote in their sentencing that the couple submitted fake documents to banks and managed to secure more than $30 million in fraudulent loans. Once that scheme fell apart, they walked away from their responsibility to repay the loans when Todd Chrisley declared bankruptcy. While in bankruptcy, they started their reality show and flaunted their wealth and lifestyle to the American public. The Chrisleys made millions from their show, but they never declared their income to avoid paying taxes to the IRS. The prosecutors added that the Chrisleys falsified documents for the grand jury as they were investigating their crimes. The couple also forced friends and family members to lie for them during the trial, even if they were under oath. The couple showed no remorse for committing the crimes, and they even blamed other people for their criminal conduct. The Chrisleys are unique given the varied and wide-ranging scope of their fraudulent conduct and the extent to which they engaged in fraud and obstructive behavior for a prolonged period of time. The couple did not stop committing crimes even though Todd was in bankruptcy proceedings. Julie submitted false documents in order to rent a house in Los Angeles. When they were able to live in the house, they did not pay the rent, and the owner had to file an eviction lawsuit against them. It was also around this time that they starred in their own reality show. Their show was first shot in Atlanta and then in Nashville. They earned millions of dollars from their show, but they conspired with their accountant Peter Tarantino to defraud the IRS. They operated a loan-out company that collected their income from the show and other ventures and kept the corporate bank accounts in Julie Chrisley's name to avoid collection of $500,000 in back taxes that Todd Chrisley owed, prosecutors said. When the IRS asked for information on the bank accounts, they transferred ownership to Todd Chrisley's mother to try to further hide his income from the tax authorities. It was found out that when the IRS asked the couple for information about their bank accounts, they transferred ownership of their properties and their income. They did this because they did not want to pay any taxes. The couple failed to file tax returns or pay taxes for several years, despite Todd Chrisley claiming on a radio program that he paid $750,000 to $1 million a year in federal income taxes. Tarantino filed 2 false corporate tax returns for the loan-out company, falsely saying it earned no money and made no distributions in 2015 and 2016. Julie Chrisley submitted a false document in response to a grand jury subpoena to make it look like the Chrisleys hadn't lied to the bank when they transferred ownership of the loan-out company to her husband's mother. Todd's lawyers wrote in a court filing that the government never produced any evidence that he meant to defraud any of the banks and that the loss amount calculated by the government is incorrect. They also noted that the offenses for which he was convicted were committed a long time ago. He has no serious criminal history and has medical conditions that would make imprisonment disproportionately harsh. They also submitted letters from close friends and business associates that prove that the couple were good people and were outstanding members of the community. If the couple were sent to prison, their employees would be greatly affected. These people relied on the couple as a source of income, and their families would be devastated if they were sentenced to imprisonment. The couple's accountant, Peter Tarantino, was also sentenced to 3 years in prison for his role in the scheme. U.S. Attorney Annalise Peters showed videos of the couple showing off their lavish lifestyle from their mansion while still managing to get away from paying taxes. They declared bankruptcy, but they continued to flaunt their wealth. Attorney Peters said that there was nothing wrong with having millions of dollars, but they needed to pay taxes as their social obligation. Todd and Julie addressed the court and asked for leniency. Todd was emotional in telling the court that his wife should not be punished on the same scale as him. Julie was the main caregiver for their 2 younger children, Grayson and Chloe. Julie broke down in tears as she expressed her sadness over the sentence. To hear your 10-year-old say she doesn't want to live if their mom goes away, no child should feel that way. Judge Ross said, "It is heartbreaking, but it has to be burdened by the defendants. I've never heard any acceptance of any crime. I've never really heard any admission to any wrongdoing or any remorse. I have no reason to doubt that both Chrisleys have good hearts, but I cannot ignore the greed and flamboyance in this case." Both Todd and Julie were sentenced below what the federal sentencing guidelines were because of their age, health, and the fact that Todd had to take care of his mother's deteriorating health. Judge Ross recommended that Julie serve her sentence at FCI Tallahassee and Todd at FCI Pensacola. According to Todd, this mess started when Mark Braddock, their business partner, went to the authorities and accused them of tax evasion. He wrote on his Instagram, "It all started back in 2012 when we discovered that a trusted employee of ours had been stealing from us big time. I won't go into details, but it involved all kinds of really bad stuff, like creating phony documents, forging our signatures, and threatening other employees with violence if they said anything. We even discovered that he illegally bugged our home. To get revenge, he took a bunch of his phony documents to the U.S. Attorney's Office and told them we had committed all kinds of financial crimes, like tax evasion and bank fraud. That got their attention all right, but once we had a chance to explain who he was and what he had done to us, they realized it was all a bunch of nonsense and they sent him on his way." Braddock, to whom the government granted an immunity agreement in exchange for his cooperation, testified in court that he created fake documents to lie about the couple's wealth. The couple wanted to appear wealthy so that it would be easier for them to take out loans. Chrisley's lawyers said that Braddock was obsessed with Todd and was taking revenge against him when their partnership ended. According to him, the Chrisleys were spending more than what they were making. They needed to pay for 3 housekeepers, buy expensive cars, and pay for Todd to go to California from Atlanta for twice-a-month hair appointments at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Their reality show was scheduled to air next year. Episodes for season 10 of Chrisley Knows Best were already filmed before the trial. However, Todd's 3rd reality show, called Love Limo, was canceled due to his sentencing. Judge Ross allowed the Chrisleys to remain free on bond for the moment, but they would be placed on location monitoring and home detention. This would mean that the couple could only leave their house for work, medical appointments, and court appearances. They also have to inform their probation officer whenever their expenses exceed $1,000. No one expected that their very public lives would be subjected to this kind of humiliation. Will this be the end of the Chrisleys? Will they fight the court and prove that they were innocent from all the accusations? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Stay tuned for more interesting videos. Are you not entertained? If you are, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.